got more helmets than I have space for them.
I've heard of worse things to collect.
I trade with a lot of drivers, but then there's been collections that people have sold, and there were helmets that I didn't have, so I'd buy the whole collection. And then if I had, so the second row from the bottom, all three of those helmets are RA Line Ike helmets. So there'll be somebody's IndyCar helmet come along that I don't have, and that person may not have a RA Line Ike helmet. Well, I've got three of them I can trade out with.
How much control do you really have over the car while you're driving?
Depends if the front end is up or not. If your front wheels are touching the ground, you have quite a bit, and it depends on your wing angle too, ballast you have in the front, how aggressive you've set up the car for traction. Sometimes the car wants to drive underneath itself. So you have a lot of input if you need to. A perfect run, you don't have to hardly do anything. Release the brake, grab the steering wheel, hold on, and be ready if you have to do anything. But in the times when you lift up, go forward, your front wheels barely touch the ground maybe once or twice in the first 150 feet, you have to recognize, is my ass end washing out? If it is, how much input do I need to have for when the wheels touch the ground? Is it going to take me away or bring me back? Versus when you have 8,000 pounds of downforce on your front end, when you're going 300 miles an hour, you have to have more input and trust that that is where it's going to take you, and straighten back up by the time you lift the throttle, because once you lift off the throttle, that downforce isn't there anymore, and it's going to want to shoot you whatever way you're pointed. So you react to what's happening, and you also think about one step ahead what is going to happen.
Yeah. All in 3.8 seconds.
Yeah. Oh.
It's insane. I mean, I don't get it. And when I went to that was my first NHRA
event on
ever.
And
I got stupid hooked. I was just like, I don't have time to do this, but I want to go to every one from here. It's just insane.
Well, she's talking about just if the nose comes up. What if one cylinder goes dead?
It's 1,200 horsepower.
And it's unbalanced left to right. So now all of a sudden it pushes the car one direction to the other. So it's like, can you imagine all the variables that can go wrong? Like she says, if everything goes right, you don't have to do much. Well, how many times do they actually do what they're supposed to do? How many times does it drop a cylinder or something happens?
I like to make sure anything that I'm doing helps with racing if I'm going to do it enough. So I was like, I really like night surfing because I can't see the wave and I'm not focused on it, and I'm focused just on my feet and the board and surfing by what I feel. And I do way better at night, and I'm way more in tune with my body when I surf at night. And I'm like, that's what I like, because I need to drive by the feel of my car, and I need to be more in tune with my body. So I would focus on that, and then we'd go and ride during the day, and I'd kind of ride, in my opinion, like a little trash, and I'm looking at things, and this is what I need to do, and I wasn't letting myself surf to what I felt.
I'm just trying to stay on the board.
Yeah. So I'm so used to surfing the day, like I go off what I see. So I look ahead of the boat, like seeing if there's waves, like different kind of waves coming towards the boat, like if I have to pause and wait to do something, or like if these waves are gonna affect the surf wave enough to where I can still do a trick or something like that. But to just solely go off how your feet feel the wave, like I understand that, but
It would be so foreign to you.
And she said we all have different focal points. So what we're going to do is, that's it. We're just going to start right now. We're just going to go in here and start. All right. So we're going to go into.
He just wants me to go first. It's fine.
I like that idea. Did you like that idea?
I love that idea.
All right. So we're going to start with Leah. Tony, you can give a little bit of input.
Listen, I'm the comic relief in this portion of the program.
So if we can go through the fundamental differences, I guess, between the SA and the SL, and the things that you definitely get with one and maybe not the other.
no, it's a lot of it's body style.
Personal preference.
So when you look at an SA and an SE, you see the same kind of body style. It's that longer, the more pickle fork bow. When you look at an SR and an SL, they're the same. So a lot of people like the traditional bow, like what was
So he's saying
back then.
little brother, big brother. Little brother, big brother. Look at it's the same exact bow, same exact hybrid bow here. These are more wide bow. And these are
kind
more
of square out a little bit.
hybrid, a little more traditional looking bow.
Are there any particular models that are way more wake surf centric as opposed to one that's like a hybrid of wake surf and wakeboard, like ones that are made?
The SA tows the tour.
Yeah, the SA is the tour boat, and the reason for that is the hull design. When you look at the SA and the SL, you see that hull is a little more, like, it's deeper. It's thicker, so that boat sinks down in the water a little bit more, and that running surface of 22.5 and 23.5 really affects how the water comes out from underneath the boat. So there's that longer 23.5 foot boat where the water sometimes maybe can lose power underneath the boat because the SA, the water goes underneath the boat and right back out. It's like when you pull rubber bands super fast, it goes a lot faster than when you just hold it. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
So when you were in the boats, when you were in the SA and the SL, you clearly felt the difference between the bow. So that's why you're choosing what you're choosing.
Right.
That's what I wanted to catch on.
Okay.
What we should be doing right now is focusing on the look of the boat that you want. So let's just design
Aesthetic.
your teal, white, and black boats. The other question, I guess, is, and I heard this already, is the engine. You're fine running 450s down there.
I believe so, yes. Now, stereotypically, people are going to ask why I don't have the biggest, baddest one.
We can do it.
In general. But, I mean, fuel economy. I mean, if it doesn't have a Suez, 1200, I think.
It's
Altitude, which is not
I think
terrible.
the 550 is going to hurt fuel economy.
no, the 550 is not. What's gonna do that is more of like the wakeboard RPMs instead of the surf RPMs. Because when you're running a wakeboard, that boat is working so much
So
harder
hard.
to keep that 22 speed instead of that 12.
But, like he's saying, on surfing, which is what you guys do, it's not.
It's a non-event.
It's not
Yeah, run the
it's
speed
not
limit.
going to.
It
No.
won't be an
Yeah.
issue.
So
And-
I heard enough. So we should do a 550 for you.
Okay. No one's gonna mix up our boats.
Ma'am?
I said no one's gonna mix up our boats.
Now the question is,